Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 1 through chapter 29, verse 9. And it shall be, when you come into the land which Yahuweh your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the soil which you bring from your land that Yahuweh your Elohim is giving you, and shall put it in a basket and go to the place where Yahuweh your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there. And you shall come to the one who is priest in those days, and say to him, I shall declare today to Yahuweh your Elohim that I have come to the land which Yahuweh swore to our fathers to give us. And the priest shall take the basket from your hand and place it before the slaughter place of Yahuweh your Elohim, and you shall answer and say before Yahuweh your Elohim, My father was a perishing Aramean, and he went down to Mitzrayim and sojourned there with a few men. And there he became a nation, great, mighty, and numerous. But the Mitzrites did evil to us, and afflicted us, and imposed hard labor on us. Then we cried out to Yahuweh, Elohim of our fathers, and Yahuweh heard our voice, and saw our affliction, and our toil, and our oppression. And Yahuweh brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, with great fear, and with signs and wonders. And he brought us to this place, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, see, I have brought the first fruits of the land which you, O Yahuweh, have given me. Then you shall place it before Yahuweh your Elohim, and bow down before Yahuweh your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all the good which Yahuweh your Elohim has given to you and your house, you and the Levite and the stranger who is among you. When you have completed tithing all the tithe of your increase in the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, to the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, and they have eaten within your gates, and have been satisfied, then you shall say before Yahuweh your Elohim, I have put away the set-apart portion from my house, and also have given it to the Levite, and to the stranger, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your command which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commands, nor have I forgotten. I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the voice of Yahuweh my Elohim. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look from your set-apart dwelling place from the heavens, and bless your people Yisrael, and the land which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today Yahuweh your Elohim is commanding you to do these laws and right rulings, and you shall guard and do them with all your heart and with all your being. You have today caused Yahuweh to proclaim to be your Elohim, and to walk in his ways, and guard his laws and his commands and his right rulings, and to obey his voice. And Yahuweh has caused you to proclaim today to be his people, a treasured possession, as he has spoken to you, and to guard all his commands, so as to set you high above all nations which he has made, for a praise and for a name and for esteem, and for you to be a set-apart people to Yahuweh your Elohim, as he has spoken. Chapter 27. And Moshe with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, Guard all the commands which I am commanding you today, and it shall be on the day when you pass over the Jordan to the land which Yahuweh your Elohim is giving you, that you shall set up for yourselves large stones and plaster them with plaster, and write on them all the words of this Torah, when you have passed over, so that you go into the land which Yahuweh your Elohim is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as Yahuweh Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you. And it shall be, when you have passed over the Jordan, that on Mount Ebal you set up these stones which I command you today, and you shall plaster them with plaster, and build a slaughter place to Yahuweh your Elohim there, a slaughter place of stones. Do not use an iron tool on them. Build the slaughter place of Yahuweh your Elohim with complete stones, and you shall offer ascending offerings on it to Yahuweh your Elohim, and shall slaughter peace offerings and eat there, and rejoice before Yahuweh your Elohim. And you shall write all the words of this Torah on the stones, plainly and well. And Moshe and the priest, the Levites, spoke to all Yisrael, saying, Be silent and hear, O Yisrael. This day you have become the people of Yahuweh your Elohim, and you shall obey the voice of Yahuweh your Elohim, and do his commands and his laws which I command you today. And Moshe commanded the people on that day, saying, These are to stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people when you have passed over the Yarden, Shimon and Levi, and Yehuda and Yissaschar, and Joseph and Benjamin. And these are to stand on Mount Ebal to curse, Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall speak with a loud voice and say to all the men of Israel, Cursed is the man who makes a carved or molded image, an abomination to Yahweh, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And all the people shall answer and say, Amen. Cursed is he who makes light of his father or his mother, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who misleads the blind in the way, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who twists the right ruling of the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered his father's bed. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with any beast, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his mother-in-law, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who strikes his neighbor secretly, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who takes a bribe to strike an innocent being, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who does not establish the words of this Torah, and all the people shall say, Amen. Chapter 28. And it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuweh your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands which I command you today, that Yahuweh your Elohim shall set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, if you obey the voice of Yahuweh your Elohim. Blessed are you in the city, and blessed are you in the field. Blessed is the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your livestock, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed are you when you come in, and blessed are you when you go out. Yahweh causes your enemies who rise against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh commands the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand. And you shall bless you in the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. Yahweh does establish you as a set-apart people to himself, as he has sworn to you, if you guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim and walk in his ways. And all peoples of the earth shall see that the name of Yahweh is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahweh shall make you to have plenty of what is good in the fruit of your body, in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of your ground, in the land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers to give you. Yahweh opens to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. And you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. And Yahweh shall make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be only on top and not be beneath, if you obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you today to guard and do. And do not turn aside from any of the words which I am commanding you today, right or left, to go after other mighty ones to serve them. And it shall be, if you do not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands and his laws which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed are you in the city, and cursed are you in the field. Cursed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed are you when you come in, and cursed are you when you go out. Yahweh sends on you the curse, the confusion, and the rebuke in all that you set your hand to do, until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly, because of the evil of your doings, by which you have forsaken me. Yahweh makes the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. Yahweh strikes you with wasting disease, and with inflammation, and with burning, and with extreme heat, and with the sword, and with blight, and with mildew. And they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. Yahweh makes the rain of your land powder and dust. From the heavens it comes down on you until you are destroyed. Yahweh causes you to be defeated before your enemies. You go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become a horror to all the reigns of the earth. And your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, with no one to frighten them away. Yahweh shall strike you with the boils of Mitzrayim, with tumors, with the scab, and with the itch, from which you are unable to be healed. Yahweh shall strike you with madness and blindness and bewilderment of heart, and you shall be groping at noon, as a blind man gropes in the darkness, and not prosper in your ways. And you shall be only oppressed and plundered all the days, with no one to save you. You become engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. You build a house, but do not dwell in it. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. Your ox is slaughtered before your eyes, but you do not eat of it. Your donkey is violently taken from before you, and it is not given back to you. Your sheep are given to your enemies, with no one to save them. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long, and your hand powerless. A people whom you have not known eat the fruit of your land and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days. And you shall be maddened because of the sight which your eyes see. Yahweh strikes you in the knees and on the legs with evil boils, of which you are unable to be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. Yahweh brings you and the sovereign whom you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which Yahweh drives you. You take much seed out into the field, but gather little in, for the locust consumes it. You plant vineyards and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your border, but do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Locusts possess all your trees and the fruit of your ground. The sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head, and you are the tail. And all these curses shall come upon you, and they shall pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim to guard his commands and his laws which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever, because you did not serve Yahweh your Elohim with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty. You shall serve your enemies whom Yahweh sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all. And he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand, a fierce-looking nation which shall show no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young, and they shall eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor the increase of your cattle, or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. And they shall besiege you at all your gates, till your high and fenced walls, and in which you are trusting, come down in all your land. And they shall besiege you at all your gates in all your land, which Yahweh your Elohim has given you. And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom Yahweh your Elohim has given you, in the siege and distress in which your enemies distress you. The man among you who is tender and who is very delicate, his eye is evil against his brother, against the wife of his bosom, and against the rest of his children, whom he leaves behind, against giving any of them the flesh of his children that he eats, because it is all that he has been left to him in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. The tender and the delicate woman among you, who has not tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and tenderness, her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, and against her daughter, and against her seed, which comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, for she eats them in secret for lack of all, in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteemed and awesome name, Yahweh your Elohim, then Yahweh shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, and grievous and lasting sicknesses. And he shall bring back on you all the diseases of Mitzrayim, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you, also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this Torah, Yahweh does bring upon you until you are destroyed. And you shall be left with few men, although you had become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. And it shall be that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and increase you, so Yahweh does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste. And you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess, and Yahweh shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among those nations you are to find no rest, nor have a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there Yahweh shall give you a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of being. And your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear night and day, and not be certain of your life. In the morning you say, Oh, that it were evening. And at evening you say, Oh, that it were morning, because of the fear of your heart with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And Yahweh shall bring you back to Mitzrayim in ships, by a way of which I said to you, You are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy. Chapter 29. These are the words of the covenant which Yahweh commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, You yourselves saw all that Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders. But Yahweh has not given you a heart to know and eyes to see and ears to hear till this day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your garments have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. You ate no bread and drank no wine nor strong drink, so that you might know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. And when you came to this place, Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us to battle. And we struck them and took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to half the tribe of Manasseh. Therefore you shall guard the words of this covenant and do them, so that you prosper in all that you do.